Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I am talking all about new construction. And if you are relocating to Madison and you are wondering, should I buy a single home that is already here, somebody already owns it, or should I look into new construction? And today, I have on John Ramkey, who is a Veridian Homes new home specialist. And John is going to fill us in all about what it looks like to go down the road of new construction. So, hi, John. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Dayna. Well done.
So, a little background on John. We met way back in the day when you were actually a realtor for Stark Company. And I think you were there for around 3 years. And now you are a new home specialist for Viridian. So now you're on to new construction. So you're the perfect guy to talk to today because
Yeah,
you've experienced both worlds.
I have. So 3 years with Star Company Realtors, showing homes all over, everywhere, driven all over. I think the furthest home now I'll be coming up on 4 years, 4 years now.
Congratulations. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So you know what is going on. And of course, they're keeping you around Dane County because there's a lot of areas being developed. So if someone is thinking about relocating to Madison and they are thinking they want to lean towards doing new construction, what is the first thing they should research? Is it the neighborhood they want to live in, the type of new construction company they want to be with? Like, what would be your recommendation?
Well, the approach to getting into a new home with us is probably very similar to looking at any of the homes that are currently on the market. You're going to define the things that are important to you. Like, is it a school system? Is it a house? Is it a location? Price point's very important too, to help narrow down what you're going to be looking at. With that in mind, you start to continue to educate yourself on current trends and markets. A lot of times when buyers come to me, if they're not ready, you know how sometimes even us, when we're shopping, right, we're educating ourselves. We're getting into the situation where, like, we say, we're not quite ready yet. We just started. And truthfully, what that means is we've just started educating ourselves to make an important and informed decision about what we're going to be purchasing. And I think when you are considering a new construction, it can be hard because conveying that information for the amount of like inventory we possibly have available and what that process looks like, you're going to want to rope in talking to a person at Viridian, like a new home specialist, about what we have available, just because you can find some stuff on the website and you can educate yourself that way. But spending 30 to 45 minutes talking to somebody about what is even possible and having someone help you through it is absolutely an amazing first step if you're comfortable doing it.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes when I work with clients, they don't understand that myself as a realtor, I have relationships with people like you, my preferred new home specialist, people that I can connect to them with, and we can all have that conversation together, which is a really awesome way to start and to make sure that their needs are still being met as maybe they're trying to decide between, new construction or not.
Yeah, and in your role in it, it's really nice because you know your customers so well. And so when you come in to have that conversation, you also know real estate lingo, right? And you know how things work. So you're able to make people more comfortable and help, I would say, not just to voice your opinion, but sort of like help guide them through the process so that they understand what their options could be as well. And you're sort of like that education segment too, where you're their guide through it. So it's extremely helpful to have someone along that can help convey that message, because we're all individuals and we communicate all different ways. And it's so nice, I think, sometimes when I say something in a meeting, maybe it kind of makes sense, it doesn't make sense, but you know your customers or your buyers really well, and you can communicate that way differently so that they fully understand it. Because sometimes in the real estate world, when you're learning, it can be like drinking through a fire hose because it's your biggest purchase that you're going to make. So you have that emotional segment, and then you have just the incredible amount of information you can take in. If you can trust a realtor like you can cut out a lot of that like legwork that maybe you don't have time to do if you have a busy life, like work and kids and things like that. So
Yeah, hands down. I mean, that's our job. And I think that's what I pride myself on is being able to emotionally connect with my clients, really understand them on a deeper level. And then when they do get emotional around one of the biggest decisions of their life, I'm able to remind them of what's important for them, what's not, and guide them through that
right.
process. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right now we're in 2023. We're in the end of August, and inventory is low in Madison. It's just it's a hard time for buyers. Are you seeing this within this year that a lot more people are coming over to new construction because perhaps the price point is actually very similar?
Well, that's been true for a long time now. We've been filling in a void of inventory versus demand in the area for longer than I've been there. We've been working for Viridian. So is it more so this year than previous years? I feel like it's kind of the same. We've just been a really great opportunity. I mean, Madison's so small, and new construction can be sort of on the outskirts of what you would consider the city center to be. So living close to town is still possible with new construction. I come from Ohio. I grew up just outside of Cleveland. You could drive 45 minutes before you ever even got out to like what I would say new developments or new housing opportunities from away from the city center there. And here in Madison, there's still a lot of really good opportunity. It's a very cool place to live.
Yeah.
It's attracting a lot of people from out of town. A lot of people are coming here for work. We're bringing businesses here too. So it's wonderful that we're living in a growing area.
It really is wonderful. And you're so right when you painted that picture about where you lived in Ohio. It's like, yeah, new construction can be 15 minutes away
Yeah.
from like
One of my
wherever
jokes
you're
is
working.
go on Google, zoom into Madison, and see how many times you have to click minus until you get to like country or the outskirts of town. And then I was like, go to Cleveland where I grew up, zoom in on Cleveland, and then see how many minuses you have to hit before you're like in that area. And it's like
Way more.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I mean, Milwaukee's huge.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is pretty big too. So like some of those cities that people maybe have visited kind of helps them bring scale into the fact that like, oh, I don't really live that far from town if it's important for me to be close.
Yeah.
Some people it's not important.
That's huge. I mean, and obviously we're both huge fans of Madison. And with that, with the inventory, going lower, more people are heading towards new construction. And I have noticed that new construction is having maybe some more competition. What sets Viridian apart? Why do people seek out Viridian neighborhoods?
We're a very fair company. I mean, we really want to treat our customers with the utmost respect and do the best for them. Our goal at the end of the process is to get wonderful reviews from them, and then for buyers to have a wonderful experience for their family and home. I mean, we really do put a lot of emphasis on that. We share as a community. Once a month, we get together as a company and we talk about reviews and we talk about our process and how we do it, which I'm not sure. I can't speak to competition or what other builders are doing, but I mean, we put a ton of emphasis in that. We really want people to be happy with their homes. We're first come, first serve on offers on homes generally. When someone writes an offer to Viridian for a home, it gets reviewed and it's considered to be accepted. We don't do bidding wars. We're not asking people for more money over the listing price. So I believe that while running a business and wanting to maintain profitability, we still expect ourselves to work in a manner that's going to provide good service to any buyer that would be interested in buying a home with us. We've got a nice 1-year warranty, 1-year limited warranty regarding our building construction. But it's a wonderful experience, I think, for a lot of buyers that come through that are interested in the homes that we build. And lately, it's hard to speak on market trends, but a lot of people that have bought homes with us, new construction tends to appreciate very fast. I mean, I know the existing market has as well, but most people that have moved in, they're not dealing with unknowns. I think one of the nice things about new construction, if I segue into a kind of another point, is that you have more fixed costs. If you were looking at variable costs in an existing home, one that needs maybe a new roof in the future, new furnace, new AC, new construction is really nice if you want to focus on work or kids or anything like that, and not be surprised with big expenses or just general remodel work, which, by the way, can be very unknown. You have no idea how much that stuff's going to cost. You go in with a budget and there's a lot of surprises where our pricing you can get a home that you want remodeled with the pricing up front and understand exactly what your budget is and know exactly where you're going to get to. So I think that's really nice for people that want to live in a newer home.
That definitely is. I had some clients the other day. I think the house was built in 2003, and it actually was like an older new construction neighborhood at one time. And yeah, there was just a lot in the house where it was like, ooh, it was priced at a high 400s, and it's like, okay, well, take that or just take new construction and start fresh. And hopefully, and you've got that warranty, like nothing's going to happen for the next 5 years, So,
Yeah. And some of the older homes in our area are really old. If you're looking for like that more maintenance free and more, how would I put, just say like
more
lack of
modern.
unknowns in the future in terms of income and how you spend your money and things like that, like new construction is really nice.
With Viridian, do people often like what's more popular? Viridian already has a home built and someone sees it and they like it and they buy it, or they build with Viridian?
You can do it two ways. So we do build homes. Right now, our build timeline, if you were to start with us, you'd be finishing in March. We have a wonderful design team. So we have a professional design team in-house. If you ever get the opportunity to visit us, we have these homes called furnished models all over the area. And they're furnished and they're sort of like displays of what opportunities you can do for changes in your home. We have a starting point and a base point for every single one of our homes, and then you can make modifications. Like you can add a range hood, chimney hood, shelving, backsplash, like some of the things you see behind me. And then for people that don't have that timeline or don't want to go through the process of selecting their own things, we have same professional design team that you would be working with to build actually pre-designs homes for sale on the market that we just start building with the hope that someone will purchase it in the future. We call those move-in readies. So those are much shorter closing times. You could be moving in some cases, 30 days, between 30 and 60 days, which would be closer to the timeline that you would expect in the existing market, right?
Yeah. And I imagine anyone who's watching this today, you are probably the person who needs more of a move-in ready home because you are relocating to Madison for whatever
Yeah.
reason. You probably don't want to wait 7 months. So that would probably be the best place to start. So please reach out to me and I can connect you with John and we can all look for those move-in ready homes. Okay, John. So here is kind of my last question. I'm a realtor. You're the new home specialist for Viridian, but you've been in this world too. It seems like it just depends on the people of whether they prefer new construction or not. Some people like the older home charm, things like that. If you could rapid fire a few pros and cons that's not bias for buying new construction or buying a home that has already been lived in, what would those be?
It's going to be hard to be not biased.
I know, because I have my like one-liners for like why not to buy new construction sometimes. So I just realized that.
I have a hard time doing that. Like I don't, it's like your 1 minute sale or your 1 minute pitch. Yeah, I'm so bad at that because I see myself as more of like a guide. It's
Yeah.
my job at Viridian to find a person that wants to buy new construction, right? It's my job, and to guide them through our process to find what they want. And so it's not like I have always looked at sales as kind of like I'm not trying to convince anybody that doesn't want something to buy something they don't want. Like
Hands
that would be
down.
miserable for me too, because I'm working with you and you're unhappy and I don't want that. So I think if you were to just generalize the pros and cons between new construction and used, I mean, like I said earlier, it's really lends to the fact that like if you want a stable outlook, a couple things. You want a brand new home. They're beautiful. They are super energy efficient. I mean, incredibly energy efficient, what we can do today in new construction standards and the things that they've developed over the last 20 years to make these homes incredibly comfortable. I joke they're like a Yeti cooler. Like, like they take so little energy to heat and cool. Like today it's going to be 100 degrees out. And I know every single one of our homes is going to be wonderfully cool. You don't wake up in the morning thinking about like how hot it's going to be outside because you just know that your house is going to be taken care of. There's an ease of maintenance with a new home because for that reason. All of the plumbing is good. You don't have any known issues with like lead or bad plumbing. You're not going to wake up to a leak. The electrical is not going to burn out because it's up to code and it's safe to new construction standards. If you built, you get to do the things that you want to choose. If you want to have fun with that creative process, we have people to do it. That's just something you can't get outside of into the existing market, especially if you can't live in two homes at once or an apartment while your home gets remodeled.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good pros. And I think my favorite, because I'm like more of like an analytical person, is that I love that I keep track of my finances in a new home so easily, because you're not going to have like huge surprises, financial burdens. You don't have to save for that kind of stuff. And then if you're if this is a stepping stone to another home, when you go to resell it, you're not worried about the buyer getting concerned about the roof or the furnace or anything like that. There's some ease for the person that buys your home from you, that this home is still new. There's still things in here that I don't have to worry about. It's not until it gets further down the line that it's all of a sudden like, well, there's certain things in here that we need to fix, and in this
Yeah.
market, as a buyer, I think that would be very important, because it's still kind of a seller's market in the existing world, and sellers are not fixing things in their home. It's becoming
They
the
don't
burden
have
of the
to.
buyer to do it afterwards. Right. And so with new, that you're getting a good product that's going to be something that's going to last you and your family a long time and be very comfortable. So not 1
Yeah.
minute, but
Well, I'm
you'll
sold.
never find me say something shorter than 1 minute is what I'm trying to say. Not me.
Well, I'm definitely sold on the new construction, and you're right. Like, as my job too is just being the guide, and when I'm taking clients through used houses and they're saying, "Oh, I don't want to have to do these updates. I'm not happy that this house is outdated and their price point is at a new construction price point." That's when I have that conversation with them of like, have you thought about new construction? Like, this
Yeah.
might be a better route for you and you might be more happy. So those are
I
all
mean,
really good
and
points.
I'll give you a con, because you asked for one of those. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a new house. If you're looking at what the move-in ready homes, a lot of times they're selling these days at framing or drywall, and it requires an imagination and a vision. We do have some homes that are completed. That's why we build these furnished models like the one I'm sitting in today, so that you can go see it. But a lot of times you can't see what it looks like for someone to live in that home. Someone else's furniture is not in it.
Yeah.
Someone else's life is not in it. So a lot of times in the existing market, people spend a lot of time on staging. What are they trying to do? They're trying to show people what it would look like to live in there. With new construction, you as a realtor and as a buyer have the challenge of envisioning yourself in that home without having that opportunity sometimes. And if you can get past that it pays off huge, because it's going to be a beautiful home. It's going to be really well made and taken care of. And when you do get in there, it may even be at a price point that you actually is really good by the time you close. I think sometimes people think new construction is more expensive than existing, and it's just really not that case anymore. I think it's more in line with the fact that like, oh, it's a drywall and it's still dirty and we're deciding to buy this. But that's my job and your job. We have samples, we have things we can walk people through to make them comfortable that they know what they're buying is going to be good for them. So
Yeah, I was taking two parents and their daughter through a townhome new construction the other day, and the parents are going to buy it and then, like rent it to the daughter, try to help her get started.
yeah.
And they went to the model home first, and then they came over to the one that wasn't finished yet, the one that they would
Mhm.
buy. And the mom insisted that the living room was smaller. And I said, no, no, no. With furniture, it looks bigger. Like, and she did like even the feet walk and made us go back to the model home. And she's went over there, did her little foot walk, 15 steps, and was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I was like,
I know. And you're totally right. It does look smaller and more confining without furniture and stuff in there. And
yeah.
that's totally right. What a great story. That's exactly, I've definitely done that myself with buyers. So
Yeah. So that just shows the importance, if you are looking at new construction, how important it is to look at a finished product to
yeah.
give you that idea of like, oh, this is what it's going to look like. Because
And
you're
then
right. It's hard to have that
trusting that it's going to turn out
imagination.
great. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, amazing. Anything else you want to share, John, as you go into the fall for Viridian? Anything else?
This is our highest amount of inventory. So actually, I think that we're coming into a time where it's a little bit slower in the real estate market. It can be for us and for you. And it's
Yeah.
actually a really wonderful time to buy. I think if people knew, they would be like all over it right now, because what happens is we live in a winter market and we put in roads and infrastructure over the summertime, and then we sell through those lots and homes through the winter time and then spring, and then we start the process again. You actually have a lot more choices right now than you will in January, February, March. So if I
Wow.
were to give anybody a piece of advice or a secret that they can take home with them, is that now's a really good time to look.
That is amazing. All right. Well, you heard it here from John at Viridian. Now is a good time to buy that new construction if you're
Yeah.
moving to Madison or if you're just relocating within Madison. So
Thanks,
very
Dayna.
cool. Thanks so much for all your information today. This was so helpful.
I know, it's so nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.